Okay, so we finished the section on DNS, and it's the fundamental application. Next, we move on to the second application, which is email. And we will look at some introduction and then the message format from the plain text to MIME, M-I-M-E. And then we look at the protocols. There are 3 protocols to look at. One is SMTP, one is POP3, and then IMAP4. And then we look at the one open source implementation, QMail server. QMail is not the most popular name server. It's probably the second popular or the third popular name server, a mail server. The most popular one could be, it used to be SendMail, but I'm not sure what's the most popular right now. But QMail probably is the third. And the reason why we choose QMail is because it's much more modular. It has a more modular design. So it's much easier to explain. And its modular design enable better security management. Okay, so we all know when you send an email to somebody, it's email address like this. So you are sending not to a host, but to a user. You send a mail to a user. And so then we haven't talked about user yet, right, until now. We talk about IP address. We talk about MAC address. We talk about IP address. We talk about domain name. But domain name is the name of the machine of a host, not the name of a user. So we need a user, but the user is not not within. I mean, how is user addressable on a host? Okay, by its ID. Okay, by its ID in a domain, and then you'll see that we need the concept of mailbox. For mail service, we need a concept of mailbox for a user, for the users. So on a mail server, there'll be mailbox, and each user would have a mailbox to store the mails for that particular user. Okay. So what is the process of sending and receiving a mail is this. So this is from the sender side and the recipient side. So you are sending a mail to your friend, but actually when you send a mail, you don't send it through the network and then reach your friend directly. No. The mail does not reach your friend directly. The mail will be stored in the mailbox. The delivery process ends when the mail is in the mailbox of the server that handles this user's mails. So this user's mail is handled by this mail server. It's in this mailbox. So I'm sending the mail and then put it here, mailbox, and then it's the end of the delivery process. I don't deliver, so when you deliver a mail, you don't deliver a regular mail, you don't deliver to a particular person's face. No, you put it into his mailbox or her mailbox, right? And then the mail waits in the mailbox for your friend to pick up. So your friend take the mail from the mailbox. So from here, your friend take the mail from the mailbox. Okay. Otherwise, if it does not read the mail, it's in the mailbox. Okay. So here's the delivery process. You send the mail with the mail user agent. Mail user agent. The mail user agent could be either Outlook Express or just mail or on the Unix system. And Pine, there's an application called Pine. It's also a mail client. There are many mail clients, okay, including webmail, okay. So the mail client would then issue SMTP protocol messages. So SMTP is to send the mail from the mail client to the mail server, to your local mail server. So I'm sending my mail to my local mail server, okay. And then the local mail server would call the mail delivery agent. This is a mail transfer agent, then call the mail delivery agent. And the mail delivery agent would then use the SMTP protocol messages to send the mail to the remote mail server. So this is my mail server, and this is my friend's mail server. Okay. And then the receiving MTA, mail transfer agent, would then call its local mail delivery agent. And the mail delivery agent will put the mail into the mailbox, will write the mail into the mailbox. And then it's done. It's done. The mail delivery process ends. So throughout the process, you see two SMTP transactions. And then your friend later on read the mail by issue a POP or IMAP protocol message to his mail server, and it would talk to its receiving MUA would talk to the mail retrieval agent, and the mail retrieval agent would then read the mailbox, read or write the mailbox, and then send the mail back, get a mail back. It would read the mailbox, and it might write the mailbox. If it write the mailbox, it would either delete the mail. So after I read the mail, I delete my mail. Or I could manipulate my mail on the mailbox. So how come there are two protocols here? Why not just one? Well, POP3, POP was designed earlier, and it allows reading the mail and deleting the mail. It just allows reading and deleting. However, IMAP says that we should allow manipulation on the mailbox. So IMAP, in the commands of IMAP, you will see a manipulation on the mailbox. Allow user to manipulate mail on the mailbox. For example, I want to reorganize my mail in the mailbox on the mail server. Okay. And the reason for these two, having these two is coexisting, is because some user prefer to download the mail and then manipulate the mail on its own disk, on its own file system, while some user does not use a computer constantly. One day in the morning I might use my desktop, and when I'm out I might be using my iPad, and when I'm in the office I use my desktop. So I constantly change the computer I use. Then I don't want to store my mail onto a particular machine. I want to keep my mail on the local mail server. Okay, so those guys would use web mail. So when you So when you use webmail, it means that your mails are still stored in the mail server. It's not on your machine. It's in the mail server. And the advantage of having this is that you can work with your mails from any client machines. Okay. How many of you actually, if you use Outlook or Outlook Express or Microsoft Live Message, it all works with the download mode. You download the mail, and mostly you can configure to delete the mail on the mail server. And if you use webmail on the browser, you read your mail from the browser, then your mails are kept in the mail server. How many of you use webmail? Okay, how many of you use actually download your mails, like using Outlook or Outlook Express? Okay, my impression was wrong. Several years ago, somebody told me that most engineers, they like to have everything control, everything on the desktop or laptop, and then they like to manipulate on their own disk, their own file system. They like to manipulate everything by themselves. They don't want to keep things in the cloud, in the server. So most engineers would use Outlook Express or Outlook or some other reader like this, while non-engineers, less sophisticated user would use webmail. Okay, the reason is because, for example, my wife uses webmail. I don't use webmail. I only use webmail when I'm traveling, because perhaps I can only use the if you go to the internet cafe, some of the internet cafe would not allow you to use your own computer. You can use your laptop. Okay, in that case, then you need to use webmail. So probably my impression was wrong that some engineers do use webmail. So you keep your mail on the mail servers. Okay, so that's the process of mail delivery. The delivery involves just SMTP, while the retrieval could be by POP3 or IMAP4. Well, local or not, is not determined by their location. Okay, for example, my mail server could be Hotmail, and your mail server could be Gmail. Okay, then this is it's my local mail server, but it's not local. It's somewhere, probably not in Taiwan or not in Taiwan. But to me, it's one hop away. My client talks to that Hotmail server directly. So the local mail server doesn't mean it's local in terms of location, but it's just one hop away. So I know some of you would use the global mail server instead of organizational mail server. Okay, if you use an organizational mail server, then the likelihood is that your mail server is local in terms of location. But even if you use your local, organization mail server, maybe later your administrator would outsource the mail server to the cloud. Then it becomes remote. It becomes it becomes far away from your local site. Okay, so here the local or remote just means whether you can reach in one hub or two hubs. Of course, there are possibilities that well, your mail server is hub mail and your friend's mail server is also hub mail. Then in that case, then the delivery process would just have one hub, would not be two hubs. You would just use SMTP to send a mail to your friend's mailbox in the hub mail, and then that's it. And the mail will wait for your friends to retrieve. Okay. Okay, message format. Let's move on to the message format. There are two RFCs defining the mail message format. One is the internet message format. The other is MIME, multi-purpose internet message extension. Basically, the first one is just plain text without any embedded, without attachment, without other coding other than the ASCII. So if you have object attachment in your mail or some binary object and the coding is not necessarily ASCII, then you need to use MIME. So a mail message will consist of an envelope or the header, an envelope or header that contain information to accompany the transport and delivery, while the payload, which is the content, will be the object to be delivered to the recipient. So again, in a mail would have some envelope and the content. So the envelope, you can say the envelope as header. Then there'll be some header fields in the message header. So for example, here it lists the major message header fields. So from originator, receiver, so that'll be from a reply to, and then a recipient could be to, or the CC stands for corresponding, while BCC stands for break carbon. CC stands for carbon copy, while BCC stands for blind carbon copy. So if you want to send to this some particular person, while you want to send the carbon copy to some others, you can put it here. And if you want to send some blind carbon copy to someone else, but you don't want the other people to see, they are the recipient, then you put it here. They will remain blind to others. So other recipient here would not see this guy, and this guy would not see each other too either. They would not see each other either. The header field trace here would be stamped by the mail server in the middle. So the mail server would stamp themselves so that you can later on trace back where this mail has traversed through. the mail may traverse through several mail servers, and it could be traced back here. And then some reference to identify this mail with some ID, message ID, and in reply to. And then subject, the subject line, date, and the extension. So this is a mail with the header and content. Is there content? No content. Just mail header. Just mail header, and it's these header fields are described here. Okay, so as I said, if you have embedded some object, some attachment, and the coding of the message is not ASCII, then you need to use the format MIME. So MIME is a specification of enhancing the capability of conventional internet message format. So you could have header information or message body, the content, in character sets other than the 7-bit ASCII. Okay, so something other than ASCII in the content or the header. And you could have multiple objects embedded in the message. And you could, the object you embed could be binary or application specific files. You could have some other multimedia file with image, audio, video. So these are to be supported by MIME. And MIME has this header field describing the MIME version and the content type, encoding method, content ID, and content description. So these are possible fields, and the content type could be plain text or some other multimedia, or could be multi-part, or some binary files. And the encoding could be from a set of these. The content transfer encoding. Okay, here's an example in MIME format, a message in MIME format. So it has some basic header field, but describe the MIME version and content type and content transfer encoding method, which is base 64, and then content description, and then the binary content. Okay, so you are encouraged to look at your message format by looking at their role or native message. Of course, when you receive the mail, those fields are not shown on your mail reader. Your mail reader probably will just show some specific field, but hide some other fields. Okay, next we see the three protocol for mail delivery and retrieval. The first one is delivery, and the other two are retrieval. SMTP operate on TCP port number 25. By the way, for the DNS server can would work on port number 53, and it work on TCP 53 and also UDP 53. So it works on both. I mean the DNS server. But for mail, SMTP, you only work on TCP port number 25. And so now the commands, the SMTP protocol, SMTP protocol would have the client and the server. The client would issue commands, SMTP command, to the server, and then server reply with a response, and then the data get transferred from the client to the server, or the server to the server. So SMTP could be between client and the server, and also could be between server and server. So remember from this figure, this is between the client and the server, but this is between the server and the server. So for SMTP, you only have the idea of sender and receiver. So what happened is the sender would issue SMTP commands, and then the receiver will send back the response. And then the mail, if it's to send a mail, then it will be from the sender to the receiver. Okay. So there, some interesting thing here is most of the application protocols would have the mode, the operation of command and response. So it's like a request response. And secondly, most of the response would start with would start with a response code in 3 characters, three digit number. For example, 200 or 250. So the code start from two something usually means it's a successful response. So if the request has been processed successfully, then the server will respond with something like 200 or 250, okay, with a response code of this. So command accepted and processed. And for all the other, it means something else. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a failure. For example, this, it doesn't mean a failure. 300 doesn't mean a failure, but these are failures. Okay. So that's the second thing. The response code. Usually, most of the applications have the response code something start with 200, which means successful execution of the commands. And thirdly, the control and the data messages are mixed together in one connection. You will see most of the application does this kind of so-called in-band signaling, meaning the control and data messages are mixed together in one TCP connection. But there's one exception, which we will see in FTP. FTP is the only exception that it does out-of-band signaling. Namely, it separates the control message and data messages in 2 connections. So there will be one TCP connection that you would pass around the control message, command response, request response, request response. But there's another connection, another TCP connection that you would send data, the file, the data file that you actually transfer in FTP. So FTP is the only application that does out-of-band signaling, having data control message and data message on separate connection, on separate TCP connections. All the other applications, they use in-band signaling. That is missing the control message and data message together in one connection, say in one TCP connection. And this is the same. So, so what happened is that let me explain the command. So these are basic commands. This is not a complete list, but major commands. For example, you was hello. You tell the receiver or the server who you are. Okay, I'm the username of you tell the name server your username. And also, well, you tell the name server. Okay, you tell your mail address, and then you tell the mail server who is going to receive this mail, and then you tell the mail server, after this, it is my data, my mail. So if I send this data, I send data, and the server responds with 200, okay. Then next, I can pump my mail in this connection. I will pump my mail in this connection. Okay, reset or quit will be to terminate the session. So if I'm a client and I want to send a mail, I would, this is what happened. So this is, let me see. R stands for receiver, S stands for sender. So receiver send 200 something. It means it's ready. It's okay now. So the sender send hello. This is domain name. It identifies itself. Okay, the domain name. And then the receiver responds with 250. So anything start from 200 to something is okay, successful. And then the sender issue mail from, send a command mail from to identify its mail address. So this is me, and it reply 250, okay. The sender will then issue another command saying I'm sending receipt to, this is the recipient, the user, I'm going to mail, and then it reply 200, 250, okay. And then sender issue data command, the command data, and the receiver respond with 354. So it's not an error, but it's a flow control. Okay. And it tells the sender how the sender could end a message with a character return line feed dot character return line feed. And then sender starts to send the mail. So you say blah blah blah. Well, actually, it's in the screen. Probably you will see just dot 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 dot, well, a sequence of dot. It means that the sender is pumping the mail, the actual mail, either in the simple format or in MIME format. Okay, and the sender continue to send until it sends a line, a dot, a line feed. Okay, so it ends the mail. Now the receiver replied 250 OK. It means that I got your mail. And then it send a command quit, and receiver reply 250-21. So throughout the process, you see a sequence of command response. Those are control messages, right? Control messages, except these are not. These are data messages. These are the actual mail, which are data messages. So in effect, we are mixing control message and data message together in one connection. Okay, so that's in-band signaling. Okay, so next we see POP and IMAP. So POP is a post office protocol, and it has the it is retrieval, not to send but to retrieve from mailbox, and it has 3 states: session state. You are either in a login state, authorization, or in a transaction, transfer the mail, or in update state to update the mailbox. So for example, after you download, you want to delete mail, or you want to keep the mail. Okay. So these are the major POP3 commands, and 3 here stand for the version that is commonly used today. Okay, so here since you are going to retrieve the mail from the mailbox, so you need to identify yourself. You need to log in first. So you specify your ID by the US user, and then your ID and then password. So it's in the authorization, and then these are the transactions. After you authorize, then you could issue command state, asking the server the number of mails in your mailbox. So it's a state stand for statistics. Get a number of message in the mail drop. Okay, and list. You probably want to list all the mails. You want to list all the or one particular mail, and then you want to retrieve one particular mail, and you want to delete one particular mail, and you want to no up because you just want to get a response from the mail server. So no particular, just to test. You want to reset or you want to quit, reset or quit. Okay, so here you see what you did is that you check how many mails you got, and then list them if needed, and then you retrieve one by one, and you delete one by one. But you can manipulate on the mailbox. You can only retrieve and delete. So here's the here the S stand for server and C stand for client. So the client, starting from here, after login, it issues state to check. Okay, it returned OK, and 2 mails, and the number of bytes, total number of bytes, 320 bytes, and then you list. The client send a list, and the server respond with OK 2 messages. And these are the 2 messages. The first message has 120 bytes. The second message has 200 bytes, and that's it. So the client retrieve first mail, and the server respond with OK, followed up by the actual mail, the actual mail, and then followed by a dot. So here's all the other are data message, control message, but this is data message, the mail, the actual mail. And again, the client delete this mail, and the server reply with OK. And the client, in turn, retrieve the second mail. The server respond with OK, and then pump the actual mail to the client. Pump the actual mail to the client. So this is data messages. And then client delete the second mail. The server respond with OK, and the client quit. So the client lists the mails, the mail in the mailbox, and then retrieve one, delete one, retrieve the second, delete the second. And it's not necessary that you delete the mail. So you could configure your mail reader not to delete the mail. Just keep the copy on the mailbox. So it's configurable. If you configure that, then on your mail reader, then your mail reader, in retrieving the mail, it would not issue this command. It would not issue the delete command. Okay, so POP has one problem. One problem is that you can only download the mail, and then delete the mail, and then manipulate the mail in your own file system. But if you don't want to store the mail locally on your machine, you want to keep the mail on the mailbox, then you need to manipulate on the mailbox. So there's a new protocol which aims to replace POP3. It says that message could be stored and manipulated on the mail system, on the mail server. Okay. So in IMAP4 there are 4 states. It has an extra state called non-authenticated state, where you have the connection up, but you haven't logged in. Okay, more commands in IMAP4, not just retrieve and delete. You could create a message. You could examine a message. You can rename. You could append. So basically you can. Well, basically you can with this you can manipulate the mails on the mail server, organize the folder on the mail server, put mail into different folders. Here's a transaction, example transaction. I think the font size is too small to read, but basically you can see this is the actual mail retrieved. Sorry, here. The mail retrieved. And before that, you see I think I'll leave it to you to trace, and you can look up in your own mail reader. You could also telnet in one of the exercise. In one of the exercise, it asks you to telnet to the mail server. So you telnet to the mail server to examine something. You could issue command, talk to the issue. You could issue this command to the mail server and see exactly how it responds. Okay, open source implementation 6.2 for Qmail, and as I said, it was designed to replace SendMail, and it's more modular, has more modular design, more reliable. It has many modules. So let's look at this figure to understand the entire flow. So here's the mailbox, and here's the retrieval. So you only see a retrieval here. So if it's a mail client that would retrieve the mail from the mailbox, then it would talk in POP3 or IMAP4 to this daemon. Okay, so there'll be another daemon for IMAP4 if you talk in IMAP4. So there are several programs and some daemons. So there's one daemon here, and another daemon here. Okay, so at the top you see SMTP. So I'm receiving mails. I'm receiving mail from either a server, another server, or from a client. So a client could issue SMTP message to send me email. So this is what the client send the mail through SMTP, or the server send the mail through SMTP to this daemon. So this is SMTP daemon. So for mail reception from the server or a client. So remember that you could send a mail to your local name server, or your local server mail server could send a mail to a remote mail server. Okay. So once this mail is received, then it would call Qmail queue to queue the mail and waiting to be processed. There's a memory queue here, and then this program Qmail send would retrieve the mail in the queue, and then either decide to send it to another mail server or decide to put it into the mailbox. So the Qmail send will retrieve the mail here, and some of the mail will be to another mail server. For example, if this client send the mail, this client wants to send a mail to a remote user, so this mail server then will be served as a local mail server, and then the mail will be forwarded here, and then through another SMTP session to the remote mail server. Okay. On the other hand, if the mail is from a server, a remote mail server, then the mail is received and then put into the memory queue, and then cleaned up by the Qmail send, and most likely it'll be delivered to a mailbox. Okay, so most likely from the client it is to be transferred to another mail server through this mail server, and if it's from a remote mail server, then it's likely to be deposited into the mailbox. Okay. Of course, it's possible that a mail client send a mail and I receive it, but deliver it to a mailbox. Suppose the recipient of this mail has its mailbox also in this server. So that means the sender of the mail and the recipient of the mail are having the same mail server. I mean, their mailbox are on the same server. Then the mail will be deposited into the mailbox directly. Otherwise, it's most likely if it's here, then it'll be there. If it's here, it'll be there, most likely, but not absolutely. Okay, and then waiting here most of the time and waiting to be retrieved by either the POP3 client or the IMAP4 client. Okay. Any questions? So the program structure should be clear, right? Is it clear? And of course, it should be concurrent server. The server process should be concurrent. That many for example, this SMTP daemon should be concurrent. I think this program it use evoke child processes to handle multiple clients in order to achieve concurrency. Okay, QMail control file. These are some configuration files. One observation is that last time I mentioned that most servers are configurable, and the way they can be configured is by modifying the configuration files. So most of the servers they all have a set of configuration file that administrators can modify to change the configuration, change the parameters. And those configuration files are read by the server when the server is initiated. Okay, so I think we have mentioned this last time, just to emphasize again. So if you are a server administrator, usually you need to get familiar with the configuration file, get familiar with the parameters, all the parameters in the configuration file, so that you can do the configuration. So when you manage a server, usually it means that you modify the configuration file. And the queue structure, it's in the file system of the mail server. It's not a mailbox. It's the temporary queue for the mails.